Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It is Friday, February 15th, 2019. It's the Ides of March. Guys, I wanted to come live to you today after last night's show because we have some, I call it a little bit of an interesting price action in Bitcoin and a couple of the majors here I just wanted to touch base on. Remember, you guys can always follow me on Twitter. I'm at Big Chonis. I'm a cryptocurrency trader, a mentor, a chart psychologist. I'm also a featured contributor to Bitcoin Live. Please check out my website, chonistrading.com, and please feel free to reach out if you're interested in my online mentoring. Who do we got here in the chat room this morning? MWM48. What's up, Peak? What's going on, my friend? Malik Soni, TJ002, Shireen. What's up, Scott Holtzman, Jeremy Snow, Wood Hamburg, Martin D., Hugo, what's up, Joe Fredenberg, Wizard of Do It Land, good morning to you as well. So guys, what I wanted to look at really right here, and let's see what were my drawings from last night. Okay, so let's just talk about this high wave candle we had yesterday and kind of the new kind of equilibrium zone that was established because of that. I actually want to use my parallel here because let's face it here. We have a very defined resistance based on the resistance of that high wave candle right at around $3,900, let's call it. And we have a decent and strong support around 3780, we'll call it. And that corresponds with a higher low of our previous kind of high wave candle here we had here with a little bit of a higher low here. And then a lower high from our other previous top off here. So we're still ranging, we're still in this tight range. Bitcoin over the past hour or so, let's go to the hourly chart here, and we can see that we're really trying to find that next momentum push in our price action here to get us to retest our $3,900 area. I want to bring up my Bollingers. I'm on the lower time frame hourly here. We are outside of our rather tight Bollinger spectrum here. You know, we have volatility examples when we can get quite wide, especially on the hourly and close outside on both directions. But because of our tightness in our hourly, relative tightness in our 4 hourly, and again, this is another example where we just closed a candle outside of our upper Bollinger after finding middle Bollinger support for several candles in a row here. On this 4 hour. Now we have an example of a couple times where we actually were able to close outside and above of our upper Bollinger here, only to get a very swift and strong rejection with this tweezer right here. Once again, we are outside and drifting higher, and I do like the angle here of our Bollingers. Remember, you can use the angle of them, not just the spacing and the support resistance lines in between. Angle is important. Basically, trend is your friend. Trend is your friend here. We're watching us slowly rise up. 6 hour Bollingers, okay, right at the upper BB on the 6 hour on what I would consider as well, a tightening range here. This is tight. This is not as tight, but we're basically sideways dead stick here. And this ranging continues. So I want to do a couple more here just to get a sense of kind of where we are. Remember, sideways ranging over several weeks, okay? Look how wide our 12-hour Bollingers were. Now they're much tighter. They're probably as tight as they've been since, over a month ago, basically. Basically that early in February here where we got very tight, found that lower BB support on the 12-hour, and then boom, we're able to break up and find that continuation there. And remember, just that initial pop there, very swift pop, brought us outside of our Bollinger, but it took us several days to consolidate for the next leg. Okay, and again, we're just putting in higher lows and higher lows here consistently, even with all this noise here in the chatter. And lastly, I want to just focus on our daily candle here. Now, I put a tweet out last night in regard to the fact that the middle Bollinger continues to hold support 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. And the fact that it just held support on the thing itself, just right there. Could have been bad. Intra-candle could have been bad, but more than that, actually, we've basically been holding our support 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 days in a row of middle Bollinger support holding, and let's face it, being tested numerous times intraday candle. Daily chart, notice we're very tight here. We're getting tighter. We're getting tighter. Upper BB resistance on the daily right at around 39.27. You know, we're only about 40 bucks away from kind of hitting that area. Note we do have examples here when we can kind of bust out of the upper BB, ride it. Okay, but don't get too ahead of our skis here. Now notice when we broke out above our upper BB here, we were extremely wide. Now that we're tighter again, this can give, I'd give this deference to be outside of the Bollinger on the daily for potentially several days in a row because of how much tighter we are here. And still, even with this little bit of a bull, I say a little bit of bullishness, we're up less than 1% in this 24 hours phase here. But we're definitely seeing the stability of this area be tested so many times. How many times of 38.40 has been tested? We break through it. Buying opportunity so far until proven otherwise. So this 38.40, 38.50 area, after ranging for several days, couple weeks here, let's face it, I mean, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong here. Checking a couple other things here. Let's hide our Bollingers, hide our artwork. You know, we're talking about this kind of cross here with our 50 rising above our 100 on our triple EMA spectrum, MA spectrum. Don't forget, we have another example here of where the 50 bullishly crossed above the 100, allowing this bullish expansion here and using the MA50 as support on a couple of these candles before it fell through and we had our bear cross again. So just because we're bull crossing with the 50 going up into the 100 does not necessarily mean it's a major trend changer, as we've seen it before, only to fail. Keep noting our MA200 on the daily at $4,800 and continuing to ever so slightly fall. But even with our little ranging move here, we're still in this very tight range, basically everything from 37 to 39.50, about $250 range here over weeks. Okay, and we're looking to finally break out of this tight pattern here and find some of that momentum that maybe be able allow us to do it. Today's Friday. We have a couple more days left in our weekly candle. Now we've had three green weeks in a row. It's been quite a while since we've had 3 weeks in a row. Oh, look at that! 1, 2, 3, dump. 1, 2, dump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have examples of 5 weeks in a row. Our April bullish month there. Remember that guy well. And we are on, we're trying to put a 4th consecutive week here of bullish momentum. Note our lower wick here has been bought up. Remember, this wick here is only a couple $100 here. This one here was more meaningful in terms of just the move. This was almost a $500 move down. We're only up a couple $100 up here on our lower wick. Now this can close as a decent looking hammer for sure, or it could definitely close as some sort of a hangman or even a what's the word looking for? Grave? Well, probably not a gravestone. What's the dragonfly? That's it, dragonfly. Because of our very tight body here is still forming, and obviously we still have a couple days left in our week to go. And I want to bring up one more thing on a weekly. I'm going to some lower time frames here. That continues to be our middle Bollinger weekly chart, right around 40.50. And then come Sunday night at 8 p.m. East Coast time, this middle BB will drop lower once again, getting probably awfully close to that price action. Notice the history of the resistance. Middle Bollinger has been on several occasions along this bear market, save one where we were able to break through it, close above it intra-week, end of week, only to fall down the following week here. So a test of this area, Middle Bollinger, I expect to happen. But if it happens next week, we're actually going to be another, $50, $60 less than we currently are, finding it as that resistance area there. So let's go into some lower time frame. Check out the action here. So remember, this is the past couple hours of Bitcoin's price action. Now, even though we're doing this little trickle up here, like our volume really hasn't really come in yet. We really haven't spiked up yet. And the fact that we did about $10 billion of Bitcoin price action yesterday and hardly moved a whisker, it just feels like the volume numbers are good. You know, it's been so long since we've been over 10 billion with a B dollars of price action of Bitcoin. So Joe Friedenberg, my brother, thank you so much for the tips, sir. Remember, guys, tips are always appreciated. Just hit that little $ there by the chat. And if you feel inclined to support your good buddy Big Chonis here, if you have any specific questions you'd like me to answer there, tips are always appreciated. 52 of my closest friends here. What's up, Jeanette? Hello, Pat Can. That's right, early bird does get the word. DW, yeah, we'll take a look at some of those indicators as well. Marco Sly B, what's up, Michael? What's up, the Shitcoin Kid? RC David, Jeff Lemieux, Crazy World Videos. What's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys being here on a little bit of interesting price action here. And you know, we've been seeing you know, obviously great momentum in a lot of altcoins, kind of across the board. Some are quick rocket ships, candles out of nowhere, and some are more organically grown after momentum kind of breaks through and breaks above. So it's nice to see kind of the big ones that we're all been focusing on, you know, wanting to see Ethereum try and break out of this 130s range. You know, I've been keeping an eye on Bitcoin Cash here. The fact that Bitcoin Cash ABC has broken above Ethereum. Remember, Ethereum most recently was well, I shouldn't say that. BCH was a lot higher, obviously, when it had its initial bottoming here, going up to over $200, while ETH was only able to get up to the 160s on the pump there. So BCH, but ever since then, ETH had been had a little higher valuation until now. This little flipping here, where BCH is finding a little bit more momentum on the daily there, and very tight Bollinger Bands, much tighter than our Bitcoin Bollinger Bands, and trying to get through and break above here our upper BB. So we're seeing some of the higher market cap coins now, you know, beginning to kind of make a little bit more of a moves after being sideways for such a while here. Guys, you should really keep this specific indicator chart as part of your trading view. This is the Bitcoin Volatility Index 24-hour. This is just rates the BitMEX. And listen, every time we get down to this green line area, okay, and sometimes even a little bit lower, sometimes to our purple here, we get that volatility incoming here. So if you're like, when's it kind of hit after sideways price actions, keep an eye on this. We were looking for volatility to come in somewhere in this area here, and ever since we had our high wave candle yesterday, it's basically been pretty consistent through here. So we're still keeping an eye on Bitcoin here. We're still watching to see if it can break above yesterday's Darth Maul candle resistance at around $3,900. You know, we closed out a very good looking 6-hour candle on the last one here. We're just about a half hour into this current 6-hour candle, so nothing really to gleam on it, just the fact that we have a nice momentum going here. And last 6-hour candle with a very good green body and a very nice lower wick here on decent enough volume there is definitely notable. Let's go back to our daily chart here. Let's take a look at our other indicators. RSI, remember, we're still holding that 50 area. And it does look like we have been able to find support currently around this 54 area, looking to range higher. Look for a break of 60, okay, which is our current near-term resistance on our daily RSI. Could definitely bring us back into the 70s here with the next push. Got a lot of history in this 54 to 56 area. Resistance, 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 and we're there one more time. So just because we're there one more time doesn't necessarily mean we're going to break through again. But if we are able to break through, it's kind of clear ceiling from a very bullish standpoint on the RSI up to back to 70 area there. Just got to get through this area first. Looking here at our MACD now. I mentioned this on yesterday's show. We're still in this bearish cross rejection. We're still in a bearish histogram, but the fact that we're so tight against our zero line here and we didn't spread that far on our indicators there was telling me that we're not really that bearish yet, even though both of the indicators on our MACD are still showing that bearish, call it direction. Not be surprised if the initial rejection here of this bull cross might get surpassed by another attempt, to push up our blue line here once again, crossing into our trailing indicator here and get some momentum going here on our MACD, because as we can see, I talk about the MACD on the daily, but the way we establish if a trend is going in the right direction is just you kind of start high and you go into the lower time frame. So 12 hour, still bearish, okay. 6 hour, look at the 6 hour, okay. We actually have our first, there we go. We actually have our first bull cross here on our 6 hour, and we're building some bullish histograms here. So we're coming back around bullishly 4 hour on lower time frame. This is how you kind of set the thing here, where we're bullish on the 1, we're bullish on the 4, we're bullish on the 6, but not yet on the 12. So we're looking to keep building on the higher time frames, okay, higher time frame momentum, basically creating more of that situation there. So that's how I would watch the MACD as we're building a bullish narrative on lower time frames going into the higher ones. 12-hour Stoke looking really good here, right direction. We do have a bull cross as well on our daily, and potentially setting up for another attempt to hit that 80 area. And again, you just start on lower indicators. We're getting a little toppy here on our hourly, but our 4 hour as well, nice ranging higher here, again getting a little toppy. So we're a little extended on some lower time frames. 6 hour as well, showing our stochastic might have a little bit of exhaustion here, but remember, we can chill in this upper area of bullishness for quite a while. But I like how the 12 hour and the daily still show that bullish running room. Even the lower time frames are getting a little extended here. Talked about this yesterday, how we're in day 26 now of our bullish on balance volume oscillator here. And, again, frankly, I would like this to correct. I'd like this to correct to the down here, get us to do a little consolidated reset, lower price action before we make another move here. We do have history of being very bullish up here for a very long time. All the way back in April of 2017, we had almost 56 days of very strong bullishness, even though we had a very vicious spike down and then were able to hold support for another spike up. This was a much stronger mountain that was created than what we currently have here. So, it's all relatively speaking, of course, but this gives me a little pause that we're 6 days bullishly over the last time we had a much more bullish perspective on Bitcoin back in December into January here. So I'm going to keep an eye on, looking for that kind of a reset. Daily TDI here. So we were looking a little more bearish yesterday here as our green did fall below our middle Bollinger, and we were watching to see if the red one was going to follow in suit. Neither of those has happened. We'll be able to reacquire middle Bollinger support on our green leading indicator here. And if both of our green and red are above our middle Bollinger, that is bullish. If the green can get above our red, okay, that actually is another sign of bullishness as well. We have similarity issues like that on lower time frames. 12 hour, we see the bullish push there on our green leading indicator, and our trailing red is right there at the middle BB holding support. So again, lower time frames are showing the bullishness there. Higher time frames are just right at the edge there. Okay, but because we're so tight here in our Bollingers, this could lead to expansion again to retest that upper Bollinger area on the TDI. CMF, chalk and money flow, looks like it wants to retest that zero line once again, an area that's just been hovering, right, since over a month and a half here. Just hold that zero line, keep above it or keep close to it, right? And the bulls definitely have the action and the momentum. You start losing it there, and but until then, this is still looking pretty good as we get close and keep close to that line there. And lastly, OBV, we're talking about the resistance here we had on our middle channel, finding that breaking through right now. Once again, look at this upper channel. We have a direct hit on a parallel 1, 2, Could a third touch here, something right there, with another rejection be in the cards? Keep an eye on that, especially if we go up and hit this. Oops. If we go up and hit this line again of resistance, we were looking for this area here to potentially act as resistance once again, but still running room, which is a bullish sign. And lastly here, it's our longs and shorts comparison here. Still waiting for that cross. We have not crossed our longs and our shorts since January 3rd, over almost 2 months, over 2 months, right? Over 2 months. Once again, getting very close here. Longs are just dead stick here, not really keen to add near, but shorts are definitely getting a little interested in adding, you know, adding that kind of shorts, continuing to their move here. 57 of my closest friends watching, only 16 thumbs up. Remember to hit that thumbs up button if you guys appreciate this live Friday morning chat with you guys, looking at some interesting Bitcoin price action here. I felt I just wanted to come on here. I had a decent enough night's sleep and get a little energy here today. And what we're watching for is, listen, we want to see this break of yesterday's very quick resistance we had right around the $3,900 area here. Our volume this morning, this is the 4 hour here, so this is the past, you know, day and a half of volume here. It's been consistent. You know, we've had some troughs, some lulls, but overall, the volume, you can't really argue with it as not being there in this accumulation range here. And listen, this is still, whenever we range here for so long, okay, we're basically asking ourselves, is this an accumulation period here? We have a tight range of almost $300-400 here of accumulation, and after time frame, you know, a couple weeks here of this thing, we're looking for the breakout, looking for the break of this equilibrium to kind of set the stage and set the tone for the next endeavor of what happens to Bitcoin. Now, I want to talk about the what ifs here. I'm going to go back to my 12-hour candle, hide my art here, and let's just talk about a couple what if scenarios. So what if let's do this here. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this guy. And let's get rid of this guy. So what happens if Bitcoin does break, let's call it back above 4K, okay? So we have, let's just bring this all the way over to here. Okay. So resistance, wicks, no wick, just right on it here, and again a couple wicks here. So can we all agree that between $4,100 and $4,200 here is major Bitcoin resistance? So what happens if Bitcoin does, the bulls are able to get up here, right, and get back into this zone here? What happens then? And are we kind of basically find another rejection like we did here, like we did here, and like we did here? Or are we actually kind of bust through this time and actually put in the first higher high in our price action? Now, we did put in a higher high here, February 24th, compared to where we were able to the resistance here on January 8th. But the overall big money winner here is that break and more or less close above the $4,200 area. The fact that we're only able to close above 4K for just one candle here, and barely, before that major rejection, still leaves a lot of this room up to 4K and above it as a very ominous area to hold long into if the price action gets up there. Now, as I said it before, we can get above this box, in this box, close in this box or above this box for potentially several days. Then expansion can continue, and that can really take us all the way up to, let's call it a little under 5K, you know, something around $4,900 here, because we kind of have some running room, pretty much clear air if we were able to break through this area here and get up here rather quickly here. And again, you know, I bring up the daily here, I bring up that MA200 once again, because we're able to find that MA50 and 100 support. Wouldn't be interested to coincide with a bullish break out and that test of the MA200, you know, hitting that sucker once again on the daily chart and getting that major resistance on it, because we got to go all the way back here to this candle area here of resistance as we got closer to the 200, and these two as well. We have history that once we fail to hold MA200 support, okay, resistance, 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 we got close to it, got close to it, a little closer to it, okay. Now we're still pretty far, okay, we're still pretty far, but bullishly this overall remains a target as long as these higher lows continue to be in play. We start losing that, and that narrative definitely gets underwhelmed. Okay, so that's kind of our bullish scenario here. We get back over 41 to 4,200. We're able to hold up here and close for at least a day or two, and then anything up to about $4,800 is definitely a possibility. Now, what's our bearish scenario? What's our bearish scenario? What happens if we either get rejected here once again, are not able to get above 4K, or get above 4K on just a wick with a very strong resistance once again, and the market's pretty much convinced that, man, Bitcoin is not ready, you know, to get above 4K index yet. And that's important to keep an eye on, because what's going to happen is that resistance will definitely you know, potentially cause that cascading bearish move here. Now, we've been watching this very tight line of support, okay? Here, 36.93, here, 37.91, okay? So this will be our first line I'm watching to see if it breaks, because so far we haven't even broken it with a wick yet. We found support, found support, found support. Okay, so this will be the first break of this line bearishly, a break down below 38. If we start getting back into the 3700s, or at least get lower than our Darth Maul candle had yesterday, okay, where would I be targeting? Well, the target really remains somewhere around this $3,500 area, because I really feel that if we were able to break bearishly down here, that the $3,500 area must hold as kind of our last vestige. Okay, maybe we do a little nasty wick, comes down here, retest this area of liquidity. And why am I calling this an area of liquidity? Because we have liquidity there. We have advancement once we get in here. We have advancement. Okay, 35.68, bullish bounce, bullish bounce, bullish bounce, support, bullish bounce. So there's buyers around the 35.50s, okay, that were prepared to hold Bitcoin and continue to buy into it if the price action gets down there again. So a bear break retesting that liquidity zone around $3,500 is a key area for a bounce and a hold and a one more test of this lower range before an accumulation can continue here. So even if we were able to break this line of support, I wouldn't necessarily say all is lost. If we break 3,500 with vicious volume down, then yes, I would say all is lost, and we're definitely going to go lower lows. And I have to keep bringing up our 2017 price action here, and just how little time we spent in this, you know, 3K to $4,800 range, and how little time we spent in this $1,700 to 3K range. Both are very equal in the time we spent there. Therefore, I have to keep this red box as a potential area of future Bitcoin price action retesting once again. And that's why I'm still under the assumption and still under the feeling that this is not the bottom, that we actually still have a ways to go. But it doesn't mean we can't go up a little higher first before we actually do have that fall. Note our overall volume here again on our daily. Ever since we've had our bottom here, you know, again, consistent volume, but declining. You know, it's pretty obvious here. We have this declining volume here. This was our rising volume in our bullish market. This was our bear market, declining volume, declining volume. This was our cascading bearish candles here, and our bullish, nice, good-looking volume here as buyers were coming in here. And then ever since then, even with these nice little spikes up, a couple $100 here and there, our overall volume profile here has been declining as our Bitcoin price action has been ranging sideways here. And a lot of that just has to do with money flowing into altcoins. Let's face it, a lot of money has been flowing into altcoins. Bitcoin dominance around 51% in holding. Okay, I want to see Bitcoin dominance rise. And for that to happen, we actually have to see, you know, altcoins begin to capitulate here. And the only way for the altcoins to begin to capitulate, is you actually have to get Bitcoin to also fall as well. So we're going to be watching Bitcoin's move today. It feels like a lot of the coins are now watching Bitcoin for that new direction here, that next direction in our price action to continue us going higher. Because of that range, and continually we're seeing advancements in Ethereum. Bitcoin Cash is looking strong. A couple of the other coins here are just using Bitcoin as momentum to continue to push higher. And but we're definitely not seeing we're seeing continuation, but we're just, and there's a couple coins that definitely have yet to run here. But it just feels like all eyes are now on Bitcoin after being ranging sideways for so long. It kind of feels like Bitcoin is in a put up or shut up mentality here. Now, personally, I am looking to short Bitcoin, or get interested in potentially taking some shorts out, if we get back above that 4K area here. But it all really depends on how we do it. I'll be watching, can the volume justify the spike in price? It's a very thinly traded market here. It does not take a lot of money to push Bitcoin to a higher valuation very quickly before basically finding that strong rejection. But so far, I like how we're looking here. We just got to get above this $3,900 area here, which was our major resistance here when we had our Darth Maul candle yesterday. This will be a good step. If we can break above that $3,900 area here, the accumulation of accumulation of that 4K area is definitely a possibility as well. So this is Big Chonis here. Just wanted to come out with a brief morning update here, about a half hour. Sounds pretty good. Time to make some poached eggs on toast. Thank you so much for my friends in the chat room here. You guys are awesome. Try and keep doing more of these videos through the weekend. We'll stay on top of this here. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my content. Remember to check me out on Big Chonis on Twitter, YouTube, and my website. And please feel free to reach out for online mentoring. Until next time, which will probably be sooner than later, it's Big Chonis. You guys are great. Talk to you soon. Peace out.